Hey, it's Dr. Nuesse, and today I want to talk about the top 3 things that you can do to naturally reduce your A1C levels. That is up next. All right, so today we are talking about my top 3 ways that you can safely and naturally bring down your hemoglobin A1C levels. Now, before we get into it, I have to make this disclaimer that these methods are not meant to replace anybody's medications, and they should also be done under a doctor's supervision. Okay, now that that is out of the way, I'm Dr. Matthew Nuesse, and my main focus is permanent and natural weight loss. And with our brand new app, we are now able to bring the support that we have given to clients in our offices to anyone across the country. So if you are struggling with your weight, if you have previously been maybe 20, 30, or even more pounds lighter, and you remember how that feels, and you want to get back to that place again, please consider downloading the brand new app, and you can hit Request Elite, fill in your information. We can send you a 5-minute quick survey that'll screen you to see if it might be appropriate for you to do one of our programs. Some people qualify, some people do not. You won't know unless you contact us first. Take the first step, download the app, send us that Elite contact request form. We'll send you the application and we will let you know one way or the other. All right. Now on to the subject of this video, the top 3 ways that you can naturally bring down your hemoglobin A1C levels. Number 1. Okay, number 1 on the list is osteogenic load exercises. Now, I have done a full video all about osteogenic load exercises and how it's kind of an A1C hack, so I won't completely recount that whole video, but I will hit you with some of the highlights because I think it is very, very important. So, one study showed that participants in the study that did osteogenic load exercises decreased their A1C level, their hemoglobin A1C, by about 9% without changing anything else in their diet or otherwise, medication or anything else, just by doing these exercises. So what are osteogenic exercises and what can you do? So osteogenic exercises, osteogenic load exercises are basically anything that puts stress on the bone, especially the leg bones. So because they're the biggest bones in their body and they weaken over time as we get older. So anything that puts stress on the bones will be considered an osteogenic load exercises and potentially can lower your A1C. So think about things like jumping or running, where you're actually kind of pounding the ground, or even doing basic kind of squats up and down. Anything where you're stressing the bone, where gravity is compressing the bone. Wolff's Law states that when you compress a bone, when you put stress on a bone, more bone grows there. So anything where you're doing that kind of activity, standing, walking, doing step up, so stepping up on an incline like a step or something and then coming back down if you can't do anything more strenuous than that. But running, jumping, plyometrics, standing, walking. There's gyms that focus specifically on osteogenic load type of exercises where they have machines basically built for this, so you can go that route as well. But osteogenic load exercises, look it up, Google it. If you do those type of exercises, again, at least one study states that you can potentially bring your A1C level down up to 9%, which is significant. Okay, number 2 on this list, and this is a very simple one. This is just a supplement that is cheap, that you can get over the counter. You don't need a prescription for, that has a lot of research behind it showing that it can significantly lower hemoglobin A1C, and that supplement is Berberine. So I'm going to read off to you now 2 studies and show you exactly what they found. So study number 1, the treatment of type 2 diabetes and dyslipidemia with natural plant alkaloid berberine. And the results here, well, first of all, before I get to the results, this is what they actually did. 116 patients with type 2 diabetes and dyslipidemia were randomly allocated to receive 1 gram. So the dosage here is very, very important. How much of this do you actually take to get the result? And they gave the participants 1 gram daily and then there was a placebo group, and they did this for 3 months. Now here are the results, and everything went down in the group that took the berberine compared to the placebo group, but I will, again, this video is about hemoglobin A1C, so we'll talk about hemoglobin A1C specifically. Hemoglobin A1C went from a 7.5 to a 6.6. And if you scroll down the conclusions, it's one sentence. Berberine is effective and safe in the treatment of type 2 diabetes and dyslipidemia. So that is a very important study and shows that a significant decrease in hemoglobin A1C can be achieved without changing anything else except for taking this one supplement. All right, and study number 2 is actually a meta-analysis, so it included 27 randomized control clinical trials, and it focused on berberine and its effect on type 2 diabetes, hyperlipidemia, and hypertension. So again, let's scroll down and we'll look at the conclusion, and I will just read the conclusion off to you. This study indicates that berberine has comparable therapeutic effect on type 2 diabetes, hyperlipidemia, and hypertension with no serious side effects. Now, when they say comparable, they mean comparable to prescription medications. Considering the relatively low cost compared with other first-line medicine and treatment, berberine might be a good alternative for low socioeconomic status patients to treat type 2 diabetes, hyperlipidemia, and hypertension over a long period. All right, now this statement here is where I have a little bit of an issue. I have no idea why they made this statement that berberine might be a good alternative for low socioeconomic status patients and not just say it's a good thing to do for all patients. I mean, why does this have anything to do with socioeconomic status? If berberine has a similar outcome to a prescription medication and it's a natural and a cheaper and just as effective product, why not use that product first, and then if that doesn't work your way up to the prescription medication? So this kind of really put me off on the on this particular meta-analysis, this study. I have no idea why they made this distinction between socioeconomic classes of patients and saying that berberine should be only used initially for that type of patient. All right, so bottom line, berberine seems to be effective at lowering hemoglobin A1C, maybe about a full point when used at that 1 gram per day dosage. All right, number 3. All right, number 3, and this is as simple as it gets. This does involve a dietary change, and it's eliminating refined carbohydrates. Refined carbohydrates only, not all carbohydrates, not a low-fat diet, not trying to cut calories, but controlling your refined carbohydrates. And I'm going to point you again to another study. Okay, this study, the effects of a low-carbohydrate diet on glycemic control in outpatients with severe type 2 diabetes. So they're looking at low-carbohydrate dieting and its effect on type 2 diabetes. Now, this video is all about hemoglobin A1C, so I'll skip down to the discussion and read what they said about that. The mean hemoglobin A1C level decreased by 1% per month during the first 3 months. So basically what they're saying is that each month that the patient, the participant, was doing this low carbohydrate diet, their hemoglobin A1C went down by 1%. So the first month, 1%, and then 2%, and then 3%. So there was kind of a cumulative or a building up effect over time by reducing their carbohydrates. So a very simple, again, thing that you can do, costs you absolutely nothing. When we see clients, either in our patients or when we work with clients, around the country, we often see that when clients not only lose a significant amount of weight, but reduce their body fat and get healthier, that they are able to then decrease a lot of the medications, and one of the big ones is medications to control diabetes, and it's a very wonderful thing when we see that. So I actually relate to this a great deal, because helping clients kind of change their diet in a very sustainable way and then be able to improve their health without doing anything else, it just makes me happy, puts a smile on my face. All right, so that's my top 3 ways that you can reduce hemoglobin A1C naturally and safely. And until next time, everybody, stay happy, stay healthy, and I will catch everyone in the next video.